A stranger walks up to a local orphanage at night. She knocks on the door before leaving. The caretaker picks up a baby and brings it inside. The abandoned child's name is Louis and grows up in the orphanage with his best friend Goob. Louis has a passion for inventing, and Goob assists him on his crazy projects. Louis tries to show off his inventions to potential adopting parents. Even though the inventions are interesting, his inventions create more problems than solving them, causing the potential parents to avoid adopting him. Louis gets dejected after his 124th rejection, and Mildred tries to comfort him. He decides to stop looking for a new family and focuses on finding his real mother, even though he doesn't know what she looks like. He begins working on an invention that can help him remember. He attends college lectures and observes surgeries to help his research. His teacher even invites him to the local science fair after seeing his determination and progress. He avoids wasting time with potential adopting parents and focuses on his invention, allowing him to finish a prototype for the science fair. Louis hurries into the fair and takes a spot. As he's setting up, a stranger grabs him and tells Louis he's in danger. The stranger introduces himself as Wilbur and warns him of a man wearing a bowler hat. He tells Louis that he took a time machine and came back to save him. Louis dismisses Wilbur, thinking he's crazy. In the corner of the gym, the bowler hat guy sees Louis setting up. His robotic hat, Doris, flies over to Louis's invention and sabotages it right as the judges head to his invention. Louis presents his memory scanner to the judges, but due to the sabotage from the bowler hat guy, the invention breaks down when he starts it and causes mayhem, ruining the science fair. Frustrated at his own failure, he storms out of the gym, leaving his invention, allowing the bowler hat guy to come out and steal the machine. Louis runs home to look over his notes and see what could have gone wrong. Wilbur comes out from hiding to encourage him to fix the memory scanner, but Louis is too angry at himself and decides to give up on inventing. Wilbur offers a deal. He will show Louis his time machine if he goes back and fixes his memory scanner. He sarcastically agrees, and Wilbur throws him off the roof. He lands on an invisible flying machine, and Wilbur takes him into the future. They fly around the city of Todayland and see new futuristic technology like instant construction and bubble taxis. Louis decides to give up on his memory scanner and hijack the flying time machine to see his mom, breaking their deal. They fight over the controls and crash the time machine. Louis and Wilbur make a new deal. If Louis fixes the time machine, Wilbur will take him to see his mom in the past. They wheel the time machine to Wilbur's home to use his garage. Wilbur's robot, Carl, lets them in and panics after seeing Louis and the broken time machine. Wilbur quickly throws a funny-looking hat on him, hoping to disguise Louis before being sucked up a pipe. Louis walks around the garage but gets sucked up by another pipe, leading to the front door of the house. Wilbur follows Carl and convinces him to not worry. He brings Carl in on the plan to fix the time machine. Carl tells him because he created a new time stream by bringing Louis. The chances of him not existing will be 99.99%. Wilbur shrugs it off and runs off with the blueprint of the time machine. Louis runs around the house and runs into a grandpa. After introducing himself as Bud, Louis asks Bud if he can lead him to the garage. Bud agrees and makes their way through the property grounds. He introduces Louis to the family along the way, meeting several aunts and uncles, who are all interesting in their own way. He meets the pet dog wearing glasses and a one-eyed octopus working as their doorman. Not a single person knows the way to the garage, so he takes Louis to meet Wilbur's mom, Franny. Franny is in the middle of a band practice with her frog musicians, and after the mini-concert, Louis runs off, scared he will get caught. He runs into Wilbur and tells him what just happened. In the present, the bowler hat guy plans to make Louis fix the memory scanner. He makes his way into Louis's room in the orphanage and waits to kidnap him. Instead of Louis, Goob walks in with a massive bruise on his face. He tells the man that because Louis was working on the memory scanner late into the night, he wasn't able to get sleep for his big baseball game. He fell asleep and couldn't get the winning catch, causing the team to ridicule him and beat him up. The bowler hat guy feels sorry for him and tells him to blame Louis before leaving. He reaches the roof where Louis usually is and realizes that he used the time machine to go to the future and chases him. While fixing the time machine, Wilbur talks about his father and how busy he is. He shows Louis his father's company and that he invented a lot of things like Carl and the traveling pipes. He also tells him his father invented the time machine too, inspiring Louis. Thinking they fixed the time machine, they do a test run, but it fails, and Franny calls them up for dinner. The bowler hat guy reaches the future, and he sends Doris and a mini hat out to look around for Louis. Lewis and Wilbur join the family for dinner. Carl asks about the repairing progress, and Wilbur says they're having a temporary setback. Franny questions Lewis about his whereabouts and relationship to Wilbur, but their answers don't match up, forcing Wilbur to lie. To cause a distraction, Wilbur throws a meatball at one of the uncles, and Franny and the uncle have a food fight. The bowler hat guy possesses one of Franny's frogs with a mini hat, but he realizes the frog is too small to do his bidding and goes back in time to get something larger. As Lewis starts to open up about him being an orphan, the bowler hat guy returns with a possessed T-Rex. The T-Rex eats Lewis and the family springs into action. They use whatever inventions they have at their disposal and distract the dinosaur, making it spit Lewis out. The T-Rex changes target to Wilbur, and as it's about to eat him, Lewis springs into action and saves him from being swallowed. Wilbur takes this chance to knock off the mini hat controlling the T-Rex. Doris returns to the bowler hat guy and punishes him for such a stupid idea. Lewis and Wilbur celebrate, and Franny runs over to check on them. Lewis is extremely grateful for the family's actions and is amazed by the love they have for each other. Wilbur tries to escape with Lewis, but Franny feels sorry for Lewis and offers to adopt him. He agrees to be part of the family, and as everyone cheers, he takes off his hat, showing them his hair. Upon seeing his hair, everybody is shocked, and Franny apologizes, telling him he can't join the family. He thinks it's because he is from the past and tries to convince them it doesn't matter, but Franny tells him to go back. Wilbur tells her the truth about the time machine and their deal. Seeing Franny's angry look, Wilbur also slips up and mentions that he lied about taking Lewis to see his mother. Lewis storms off in anger and Wilbur gets grounded for life. Lewis sulks in the garden and the bowler hat guy shows up in front of him. He makes a deal with Lewis. If he fixes the memory scanner, he will take Lewis to see his mother. Lewis agrees and gets in the time machine when Wilbur reaches him. Lewis fixes the machine and teaches him how to work it. Once again, Lewis is betrayed, and the bowler hat guy ties him up. The bowler hat guy tells him who he is in the future, and he's shocked to find out he is Wilbur's dad, the famous inventor. Lewis asks what he did to anger the bowler hat guy, and he reveals that he is the future Goob. Because he couldn't get sleep the night Lewis made the memory scanner, he missed the winning catch, while Lewis went on to win Nobel Prizes and was constantly mentioned by the public, causing Goob to blame Lewis for everything. He went to Lewis's company in the future and met Doris, a failed project of his, and with a common goal to take down Lewis, they teamed up to steal the time machine and Lewis's first successful invention, the memory scanner. Goob takes Lewis to the roof to board the time machine. Lewis takes a chance to escape and rolls off the roof with the memory scanner. Lewis is saved by Carl and Wilbur, and they run off. Lewis makes up with Wilbur and tells him he knows. Shortly after, Doris breaks Carl and steals the memory scanner back. Goob and Doris go back in time with the memory scanner to change the future. Goob already begins to change the future, and Wilbur disappears. Lewis runs back to the garage and reaches the broken time machine. There is another memory scanner there, and Lewis sees what Goob has done. After getting a contract for the memory scanner, he builds more Dorises. After taking control of the humans, she betrays Goob and takes over the world. The family comes out of hiding after being possessed by the hats and swarm Lewis as he enters the time machine. He hurriedly fixes it and flies away. He sees the destruction and devastation left by Doris, and he goes back in time to when Goob signs the contract. He exclaims that he will never build Doris, and she disappears. Lewis shows Goob the future that Doris created and feels betrayed. The future slowly changes back to what it was, and Wilbur comes back. While they talk, Goob runs away feeling sorry for everything he's done. The family runs over to Lewis, and as they are checking on him, the future Lewis shows up panicking about the missing time machines. He takes Lewis to his lab and shows him all the cool inventions they created. Lewis realizes that if he goes back in time to live with his mother, this future will not exist. Lewis asks if they will ever meet her, and future Lewis tells him to make whatever decision he feels is right and to find out for himself. Lewis says his goodbyes and gets in the time machine with Wilbur. Wilbur takes him back, but not to the present. He takes him back to the night his mom left him at the orphanage. He goes over to her and hesitates. Instead of meeting her, he hides and lets her go. In the present, Wilbur drops him off and Lewis heads over to the baseball field, waking Goob up just in time for him to catch the fly ball. He catches the judges at the science fair and asks for one last chance with his memory scanner. This time it works, and as he finishes the presentation, a man comes to pick up one of the judges. Louis realizes that he is a younger Bud. A frog interrupts them, and a young Franny introduces herself. And Louis is in awe of her. Louis is glad he made the right decision to stay in the present and to keep moving forward. He gets adopted by the judge and Bud, and they let him continue to create new inventions.